So now let's switch over to foreign exchange. We're going to look at the dollar, the euro, British pound, the US dollar versus the Japanese yen in the cash market, Aussie versus the dollar, and the US dollar versus Canadian. Now, the point I want to make here when I talk about currencies is that the dollar is thrashing. It's in a very, very wide pattern that looks like a diamond top that's forming, or a diamond. Now, the gold market, inversely to that, is also forming a diamond pattern. A lot of movement up and down, and you could call it thrashing also. We don't 100% know how that's going to form and finish. However, if you look at the fundamentals of what's causing that, you have the dollar market, the number of dollars being printed in a way that is just beyond comprehension. The monetization that will go on by our government is an extraordinarily amount of money, and they are trying to liquefy the world. Doing that, somebody could comment on the fact that I said that a week ago, that the U.S. government thinks they can liquefy the world in their hubris, but they are trying to do that, and they've created a facility for international repo to try to deal with the shortage of dollar situation. And that it just shows you that our Fed and our government believes that they have no limit to their reach and what they're willing to do. So they are going to print dollars forever here until the fiat experiment that we've had for now, well, since Nixon in '71, until that officially ends through probably the destruction of the dollar, or how the dollar is accepted around the world. That could happen very quickly, and you can see how things are happening very quickly in the world we live in. So when the dollar is being debased at the level it is, at some point it's going to turn down in a huge way, and we think that is actually not that far off. So we'll see how that all forms, but it's a very wide pattern that we see in here. So let's switch over from the natural gas market to $DXY, which is a basket of currencies. And the heaviest weight is the inversely correlated euro, which is about 0.57% of the dollar. Now here's that huge pattern we're looking at. First of all, I want to look at these bigger patterns right in here, and you can see that big pattern there, and then this possible shift that is going on as the low really looks like it came here versus here. Now this is an anomaly, actually, and if you read Hirsch's theory, there's often, when you break down underneath and come right back, that it really all exists in this one pattern. And you can see that I have that in there, right there. That's one alternative where it could be that pattern right there. The other one is this blue dash line, and that's the same thing, with this all forming somewhat of a diamond. So you can see the left side is formed with what is a triangular shape in there, and now it's going out towards the right here, and this could go out for quite a number of weeks before this is satisfied. So it would mean a lot of moving up and down in here, and that would be the same thing for the gold market, a lot of moving up and down as it correlates inversely. What I do believe is that ultimately this is going to be a massive major top, and that is when it does eventually break down, you're going to see gold go to record levels. That you can see is still away from forming. And that's to the best of my knowledge, that really looks like what's happening. Major top in the dollar, and think about what that would mean to other currencies, or what that would mean to the gold market. So dollar, that is your weekly pattern there. We're going to just look for a lot of gyrations in here. Inside there, here's your megaphone, or the left side in here of that broadening pattern as I switched over to the daily chart. Now you can see this pattern. I'm really projecting this in a pessimistic way. Truth be told, that's my gut. If I were to be projecting this in a way that is less pessimistic, well, it would be something like this. It would be, I'm just going to duplicate this so that you can see. it would be something more like this and extending out this pattern without breaking that low to like here, and then continuing to work on the right side of that triangle. So this line that I have in here is my gut, the most pessimistic. Maybe what I just put in there is the most obvious. Now, what you had in here was panic buying right in here on the dollar shortage, as there was a worldwide economic collapse going on, still going on, of course, and a shortage of dollars. So the dollar exploded in here as foreign dealers were just desperate to be able to cover up a lot of their foreign holdings, the debt in their foreign holdings. And then right over here, you could see the panic selling on the QE infinity, which we are in now, and it may be QE infinity eternity, or at least if it's finite, it's until the fiat system breaks, which may not be that far away. And so we're in this period of craziness. It's Banana Republic type stuff, and we're likely to see a lot of thrashing in here. And then I think resolving itself to the downside as far as the dollar goes. So there's a lot of gut feel in this analysis I'm giving you right now, because these are extraordinarily rare looking chart patterns I'm showing you. And again, you could see over here that this big action right over here is how it shows on the daily chart here. And that this extension out over here, creating this right side of this diamond pattern that's forming, looks to me like would be the top, the big top that is forming, and then the dollar, maybe its status in the world ending after that. I know that sounds extremely pessimistic, and I don't tend to be that alarmist, or to be that much of an extremist, but I'm seeing that go on here. Now, of course, the inverse of that you can see right over here clearly in the euro currency. Again, this looks either like a major breakdown, or that the big break in the dollar brought this big uptick, and this really belongs really in this low that was made here. This was anomalous then, and then we're actually in an uptrend here. I've got it red in a downtrend because it's the highest probability right now. And again, we could just be moving sideways in here for weeks and weeks, completing this diamond before we get the result of what this all looks like at the, sometime maybe in June, when we end up getting some major movement in here in the dollar and all of the other commodity markets. If I'm right about it and the dollar is making a major top, commodity markets are going to explode. We're already seeing some very explosive action in wheat and soybeans. So I think it's just kind of setting up for that when I look at this. It's hard to make very much of a call in here when I think it's going to be just wide gyrations going back and forth. You can note the 61.8 stopped it like crazy right there and then moved down as the dollar moved back up. So let's take a look here at this pattern here. And you could see it came to the sell zone. It's coming down to minor support in the euro. It looks to me like it's going to have another 3 to 5 days down, just like I think the dollar probably will have another 3 to 5 days up in the short term. And then we'll get the dollar down, the euro moving up at that point. This actually looks to me like, for short-term traders, this minor support could be a buy zone, and looking for the euro to get another move back up towards that 61.8% on the weekly.